Let's go inside, people. We're going to start in reclined butterfly pose. So come to lying on your back. From lying on your back, bring the soles of your feet together. Allow your knees to drop out to the side. This is called external rotation of your femurs. Those are your thigh bones. If you find this stretch is way too much in your adductors, your upper inner thighs, you can slide your heels down away from your groins. To increase the stretch, slide your heels closer to your hips to enhance the opening in the adductors, the upper inner thighs. That's the primary place where we're looking for a stretch. If you feel your chin sticking way up towards the ceiling, use your hands behind your head to help elongate the back of your neck. You can have your palms face up wider than your shoulders, or palms face down, fingertips not touching, to help relax your nerves. Allow your eyelids to relax, or better yet, close your eyes completely. And then, without changing anything, can you notice your breath? Can you start to notice all the little sensations that happen as you breathe? You might feel the rise and fall of your low belly. Or notice the way that air moves in and out of your nose or through your lips. Just notice. Wonderful. Allow your breath to deepen and lengthen. As you inhale, feel your chest and back get broad. As you exhale, can you linger in that empty place at the bottom of your lungs? Inhaling, maybe you notice places in your body that are tense, tired, or tight. As you exhale, can you let go of any of that energy and allow it to melt into the floor? One more breath just like that. Start to shift all of your attention and your awareness into the feeling of your heart beating at the center of your chest. As you tune into the feeling of your heart, can you start to turn down the volume on any lingering thoughts, on any expectations, on any distractions keeping you from experiencing this moment just the way it is? Listening fully to your heart, can you ask it this question? Why am I practicing? Pause for a breath. Listen for your heart's answer. If your heart answered your question, allow its answer to become your intention, the guiding force throughout our time together. But if nothing came through, dedicate this time to being fully present. Find stillness. Be here. Allow your attention to return to your breath if it wandered. Let the movement of your breath inspire tiny movements in your fingers. Using as little effort as possible, start to slide your hands down beneath your knees. Instead of engaging your legs, use your hands to press your knees together. In slow motion, start to turn over onto your right hand side, your yang side, the side associated with your active, fiery energy, the energy connected to the sun. Use your left hand to press yourself up to a comfortable seat in preparation for our next shape, dragon pose. Come to kneel on your mat, and then step your right foot forward, keeping your knees stacked on top of your ankle, especially if you have any issues with your knee joint. In some people, it might be okay to let your knee fall forward of your ankle, but be forewarned, this will create more pressure in your knee and more of a stretch in your Achilles tendon. If this causes any discomfort in your left knee, you might decide to fold your mat over or place the blanket underneath your left knee to give it a bit more cushion. You can have your fingertips on the ground on the inside of your right foot. If you want more sensation, you might come to more of an upright position. From here, allow your hips to sink forward and down as you find a stretch in the psoas muscle, the muscle at the front of your left hip. Instead of coming to your maximum tolerable sensation, back off to 60% of what you know you can do. As we hold here over the next couple of minutes, whatever sensation you begin with is likely to increase with time. Give yourself a little bit more breathing room than you think you need. We're here for 2 minutes. Enjoy. Then as you're ready, slowly start to release this shape in favor of any little movements that feel nice. Now, I often say in 2 minutes, it can feel like you've aged about 1 billion years. Should go away with a couple of minutes of movement. It's usually because the strain and stress we put on your joints in order to help them to function. And like I'm pedaling my feet back and forth. In your body, it might feel nice to hinge your hips back, coming into a little half split. I've seen students just come into child's pose. There's no wrong way to move here. It's all about how you feel. And as we're getting ready here, we'll make our way into our second side of that shape. I'm putting my right knee on a blanket. You can keep your right knee on the floor. Step your left foot forward, or your other left foot if you're like me and you get your sides mixed up. And then from here, trying to find that 6 out of 10 sensation in the psoas, the hip flexor at the front of your right hip. Now, a lot of times when I'm teaching in public classes, people will call me over and ask me if they're doing the pose correctly. And usually my answer to them is, do you feel a sensation in the target area, in the place that we're trying to stretch? And usually they'll say, yeah. Prioritize the way this pose feels, which means finding sensation, in this case, in the front of your right hip, over the way you think it should look. All of that while avoiding pain. If you feel pins and needles, lightning, electrical sensations, anything that doesn't feel safe or that takes your breath away, that means you're doing damage. That's the wrong way to do the pose. Come out, back off, come to a comfortable seat, but don't practice in pain. And as you're ready, slowly starting to exit out of that shape, taking any little movements at all that feel nice to fully release it from your body. In my body, that means pedaling my feet back behind me, and In your body, it might look totally different. They say the forms in a lot of these internal practices should be practiced like clouds. You know, when you're looking up at the sky, that you're seeing a cloud, even though their shapes might be completely different. It's the same thing with these shapes in Yin Yoga. So our next pose is a variation of thread the needle. Now, if you don't have a wall close by like I do, you can come to sitting and take your right ankle just beneath your left knee. The closer your heel is to your bum, generally speaking, not the same for everyone, usually the more intense the stretch in gluteus maximus, that's the big bum muscle on the right-hand side. The further away your heel, the less intense usually the stretch on the outer side of your hip. So, option 1, foot on the ground or legs straight. If you have a wall, I like to bring my bum, the side of it, really close to the wall and sweep my hands back behind me, extending my left leg in this case straight up the wall and my right foot beneath my left knee. Now or with time, if you feel nothing on the outer edge of your right hip, you might decide with time, now or in a few minutes, to bend into your left knee to increase the stretch in your outer right hip. And then start to notice if as you stretch your outer right hip, you start to tense different areas in your body, like your jaw, the space between your eyebrows. Instead of straining and pushing to deepen your pose, can you try to relax and lengthen your breath? At around this time in this shape, you might start to experience warm tearing sensations, dull aches, similar sensations to receiving a really intense massage. This might be an indication of fascia or connective tissue starting to become mobilized and released. Instead of perceiving these uncomfortable sensations as something to be avoided, distracted from, can you practice instead just being really present to that sensation? Like you were listening to your best friend vent about their day. And it's also completely possible that you feel absolutely nothing. Nothingness in yin yoga isn't nihilistic or negative. Nothingness is just a place for growth. A little bit of breathing room. About 10 more breaths here. And then as you're ready, slowly starting to release that shape, engaging in any little movements that feel nice. As you start to move, notice any sensations of blood or circulation that come up as a result of the compression, the pressure we created in your joints. And then when you're ready, starting to move into the second side of your shape, placing your left knee just beneath, your left foot just beneath your right knee, allowing your leg to be straight, either sitting upright a little bit better if you're expecting, or lying on your back if you're not. You always have the option to bend into your right knee. The closer your heel is to your bum, the more intense the stretch on your outer left hip. As you find a stretch in your outer left hip, can you turn your focus onto your emotions? And there might be lots of really intense emotions. Instead of getting caught up in that sensation, can you just notice where your emotions are felt in your body? That might be a lump in your stomach, a warm swelling feeling in your heart. Maybe you're like, this is the most boring live stream I've ever seen in my life. What does that boredom feel like? The answer is never what's important. What's important is just taking the time to go in and notice. Just notice. What do your feelings feel like? And then as you're ready, starting to release this side of your shape in favor of any little movements that feel good. And maybe there's no movement, and that's the only movement that feels good. That's all right too. And then from here, starting to make your way up to a comfortable seat if you came to lying on your back. This next pose is a variation of square pose. Placing your right ankle in front of your left ankle. Notice I'm not crossing my ankles here. That compression on your ankles probably not going to feel very good after a minute or so. So making sure that one ankle is in front of the other. Now, sitting can be kind of weird for a lot of different reasons. If you need to, you can roll up your mat to give yourself some height, or like I'm doing, I'm placing a blanket underneath my hips. What this does is it helps to tilt your pelvis forward, might make it a little bit more effortless to stay in this shape. You can stay upright here. You're looking for a little bit of sensation in your legs where you hold tension. That'll completely depend on your body today. Or now, or with time, you might start to fold forward to find a stretch on one of your outer hips. It really depends on your bone structure, not so much how flexible you are. So that's option one, square pose. If you're expecting, stay upright. If you're not expecting, it's fine to fold forward. Some people might have some discomfort depending on the shape of their sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of your spine. So that's up to you. Option one. Option two, if you don't have any issues with your ankles, your knees, or your hips, bring your left knee towards the center line of your mat. You can either have your right foot across your left knee or stack your knees on top of each other. Again, this mostly has to do with your bone structure, not so much how flexible you are. My femurs, my thigh bones are inwardly rotated. I have a structural advantage to stacking my knees. Doesn't mean I'm better or worse than yoga at anyone else, just the way I'm built. You can stay upright here, or now or with time, you might start to fold forward over your stacked knees, provided that you're not expecting. Start to bring your attention into your thoughts. Without getting caught up in their stories. Can you just become aware of them? Watching them pass through like clouds pass through the sky. As you notice your thoughts, start to notice if you're starting to think about them. Can you label that as just thinking, and then come back to that state of observation? Really easy to say, a little bit more difficult to practice. Now that you've noticed your thinking, can you refocus on the space between your thoughts? Might be a little, might be a lot. Can you refocus on that space between thoughts? Just like you're refocusing a camera from the foreground into the background. How successful you are at this exercise, it doesn't matter. What matters is keeping your attention there and just do the best you can. Slowly starting to crawl yourself back to upright as we move up and over to the opposite side. So, stacking left ankle in front of right, that's the mildest. Bringing your right foot to the outer side of your left hip, your left knee stacks on top of right. Or the other way, if you got turned around like I might have. Listening to a barking dog, it's all good. Staying upright, even if you didn't on the first side, if that feels better. Or now, or with time, starting to fold forward over your legs in either position, as long as you're not expecting. And then in this shape, start to notice what's preventing you from going deeper. It might be a distraction. It might be a thought or an emotion. It might be muscular tension or just a limit of what you've got going on with your bones or the floor. The answer doesn't matter. What matters is just taking the time to notice. Just notice, what are your limits right here, right now in this shape? Close your eyes. Start to notice all the support that lies beneath your skin. The hard limits of your bones, the tendons and ligaments, muscles. All the spaces in between those supports that allow blood to flow through your veins. Air to move through your lungs. Food to get digested. Can you notice how you're a living example of both space and support? Not one or the other. Not black or white, right or wrong, good or bad. Just a balance between two opposing forces. And that might hit your ears like a bunch of hippy-dippy yoga teacher stuff, and if it does, it's totally fine to let it go. But if it helps you, keep it. You're not just one thing. And as you're ready, starting to make your way out of that shape, whatever it was, unraveling your legs, noticing all that lovely circulation that comes out as a result of the pressure you created between your limbs. Ooh. Snap, crackle, pop. And then as you're ready, start to make your way into your final resting shape. I have to itch my face, but I won't touch it. There we go. In your final resting shape, that might look something more like Shavasana or corpse pose, coming to lie on your back with your feet wider than your hips. That helps to reduce the surface area that's touching in your legs, should help you to relax your nerves. Palms face up by your sides or palms face down, fingertips not touching on your low belly to help relax your nerves. The reason why is there's lots of nerve endings in your fingertips, so the theory goes that by keeping your fingertips separated, they won't be taking in information, which will help you to relax. Now, if lying on your back just doesn't feel so nice on your back, you can bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. Sometimes I like to walk my feet to the outer edges of my mat and let my knees drop in. That can feel really nice. Some people just like having them hip-width distance. Perfectly good too. Or if lying on your back, depending on your environment, might not be the best thing, you can also just come up to a comfortable seat. I like to come into Sukhasana or easy pose with one foot in front of the other. And then however you've set yourself up, just make sure you're completely comfortable. We're going to move into a body scan meditation. I learned this with one of my teachers, Taryn Diamond. So I'm going to offer it here to you. Shout out to Taryn Diamond Yoga. All right. So finding that nice comfortable seat, be really detail oriented in the way you set yourself up. As we move through various parts of our bodies, whatever is catching your attention now is likely to become very distracting as you start to relax. So I'm going to pause for a couple minutes, maybe not a couple minutes, few seconds, and let you set up. You might roll up your mat at the back, use that as a pillow if that helps you to support your neck. You can come to lying on your side, especially your left-hand side if you're expecting, if that feels more appropriate for you. And then starting to get any last little wiggles out before closing your eyes. Unless you're expecting, exhale all the air out of your lungs for guided breathing. Inhale into your tummy, into your chest, all the way up to your shoulders. Exhale, let tension go. Gravity pulls you towards the ground. Inhale into your tummy, into your chest, all the way up to your shoulders. Exhale, relax. There's nothing to do but breathe. Inhale, tummy, chest, shoulders. Exhale, let go. Keep breathing on your own. Anuloma Viloma, or three-part breath, helps to relax your nervous system from the fight and flight response, the sympathetic nervous system, into the rest and digest response, the parasympathetic nervous system. Notice the relaxation you've created in your body simply by becoming still and present to your breath. As I call out various body parts, can you drop your awareness into them as though you were dropping a pin on a digital map? Bring your awareness into your right big toe, right second toe, right third toe, right fourth toe, right pinky toe, your right ankle, right knee, right hip, your entire right leg, left big toe, left second toe, left third toe, left fourth toe, left pinky toe, left ankle, left knee, left hip, your entire left leg, both of your legs together, your right hip, right side waist, right rib cage, right armpit, left hip, left side waist, left rib cage, left armpit, your right thumb, right index finger, right middle finger, right ring finger, right pinky finger, your right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, left thumb, left index, left middle finger, left ring finger, left pinky finger, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, right eyebrow, right eye, left eyebrow, left eye, top lip, bottom lip, both your lips together, the space between your eyebrows, the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your right nostril. The sensation of your breath moving in and out of your left nostril. The sensation of your breath. Stay with your breath. Allow your attention to return to your breath if it wandered. Let the movement of your breath start to connect you to tiny movements in your fingers and your toes. Allow your head to rock from side to side like you're waking up from a wonderful dream. And maybe you were. Keeping your eyes closed and your head heavy, slowly roll over onto your left-hand side, your yin side, the side associated with your relaxed, effortless energy, the energy associated with the moon. Press down into your right hand to make your way up to a comfortable seat if you're not there already. As you arrive, gather your hands either in heart center in prayer position, but if that doesn't feel appropriate for you, from prayer, allow your index, middle, and ring fingers to splay apart for Lotus Mudra. Take a moment to acknowledge the intention that allowed you to take this time and space for your practice. Whether it whispered to you from your heart or the act of staying present. Take a second moment to acknowledge all of the community virtually around you that lent their presence to your experience. And a third moment, acknowledging the generations of teachers and students that came before you and the generations that will follow long after you're gone. Thank those who came before for paving the way and those who follow for continuing on the path. And then finally notice, even though we might not be together, we're still connected. To close this practice of presence, we say the word namaste, which simply means I bow to you. Thank you for your presence, your practice, and for all of your efforts. Namaste. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, I always love having feedback, especially when I'm doing something like this, which I don't normally do. Feel free to hit me up. I'm going to add some links at the bottom of the page for that. But otherwise, I hope you have a really great sleep, and hopefully you've breathed a little easier and broken up a little bit more tension that you thought you might. Namaste. Thank you.